So obviously this is breaking news. Just now, President Trump making the formal announcement that that DHS Secretary Kristi Noem will be replaced, John.
Will, and also the president taking note of Markwayne Mullen's status as a former undefeated professional MMA fighter, also the only Native American in the Senate.
As well, I'm pleased to announce that the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullen, will become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security, DHS, effective March 31st, 2026. So end of this month, Reed. It goes on to say the current Secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served as well, has had numerous and spectacular results, especially at the border, will be moving to Special Envoy for the Shields of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere we are announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida. I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland.
Major, after about 24 hours of speculation, the president, as he likes to do, just made the announcement himself via Truth Social, saying that he was going to be putting Markwayne Mullen, the senator from Oklahoma, in charge of the Department of Homeland Security, and essentially demoting, not firing, but reassigning Kristi Noem to what he described as Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, which he said is a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere that he plans to announce on Saturday in Florida. This caps several days of controversy over an answer that Kristi Noem gave to senators in a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing the other day, in which she was asked about a $200 million ad campaign starring her that she had produced as Secretary of Homeland Security, in which she urged people living here in the country illegally to self-deport. She was asked if the president knew that she was going to spend that kind of money on that ad campaign. She said yes, the president himself had signed off on it. Well, we began to hear through sources that the president hadn't signed off on it, and that he was, unhappy with the answer that Noem had given. She was already, we understand, on thin ice given the handling of arrests in Minneapolis, Minnesota, over the past couple of months, and then the president announcing just a few minutes ago, Major, that he is indeed replacing her.
The agency over which Kristi Noem used to oversee, and then Markwayne Mullen, if he's confirmed, will oversee, is still absent full fiscal year funding. That standoff continues.
Correct. And some Democrats have already said this morning, Major, that it might be easier to negotiate a way out of this impasse if Noem is no longer at the helm of the Department of Homeland Security, if they are working with other officials, if they're talking to their colleague at this moment, Markwayne Mullen, who was dogged by reporters in the halls of Congress just today, said he hadn't spoken to the president, didn't give anything away. You're right that he will likely have an easier confirmation process because he is so well known to these senators. And of course, Oklahoma is a deep red state, which means that his seat is not necessarily in any danger of turning from Republican to Democrat, which is another reason that he was probably an attractive candidate for the president for this role.
The Department of Homeland Security wanted to buy for $70 million. Those same pictures came back up at both the House and the Senate hearings this week, where Secretary Noem was pressured about why she wanted to buy this airplane and why it was supposed to be designated for deportees. She said that they would retrofit the plane, pull out the bed. This, of course, came with a bedroom, a bar, a kitchen, a large lounge, and 4 flat-screen TVs. This was the kind of luxury the senators were really pressing her about when it came to the spending decisions at DHS. She said that it could be retrofitted, but of course it begged the question, why would they not buy a regular plane for deportations in the first place? So there were a lot of questions that Noem at times struggled to answer, and there was a particular back and forth she had that really, we understand, rankled the president and bothered the White House when she was asked about that ad campaign. And she said the president knew that she was going to spend $220 million on an ad campaign that was supposed to encourage immigrants to self-deport. They said it ended up saving taxpayers money because those people were no longer in the country and deported on their own. But it prominently featured her. And of course, it really came as part of an image that some Republicans and certainly Democrats portrayed through those hearings that Noem had been given a very wide berth when it came to approving contracts with her and her senior advisor, Corey Lewandowski, and that this was somehow a vanity project, that ad campaign really was to glorify her more than it was to do anything when it came to immigration. We should point out, though, Tom, that under her tenure, there was a record low number of border crossings at the southern border. Of course, that's to do with this administration's policy basically banning asylum for anyone crossing the border. But she has had some successes. And